kind of at an interesting crossing point that I want to be diving into and looking at. Yesterday, I nailed the market short. That was a very, very good call. We are kind of giving some of that back, and now I'm wondering if this is actually the second attempt to roll over. So I'm going to go into the markets, and we're going to look at some stuff and see if there's a way that we can finagle our way in. So let's kind of continue. Let me know if everything is working all right for you guys. Looks like we're good here. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then, yeah, guys, remember to subscribe, hit the like button, anything else like that, and then we can dive into this. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to hit me up here and come join the conversation. All right, the other thing is here, profitpilot.com. This is the website that is about me, and I write up a few things about the market every so often. And this last one was about how we caught basically the last move in Riot, and we had a pretty good time with that. The cryptos were really moving at the time. I still think that there's opportunity there, but we need to wait for it to set up again. So we got 26% basically the next day in one day on that trade, and so that was fantastic. So we'll go there. Let me kind of take a look. So one of the things is I'm looking at the Uvxy. Now, if anybody is familiar with my teachings and what I look at what I call an elf shoe. It's essentially a double bottom, right? And what I'm looking at here, and actually I can zoom this one out a little bit more, that I'm starting to also see some divergences. So what we're looking at here on the, I guess I also need to get my Camtasia up and running. Let me get that real quick. But if you look on the hourly chart, while I get this up and running, what I'm seeing is the equivalent of a double bottom. And so what's happening is that we had price really jump up yesterday because the market rolled over. I'll show you how I captured that and how in my live trading session yesterday we were actually able to get that and we did a good trade on it. And then I said, well, don't be surprised if price pulls back, like if the UVXY pulls back or the SPY bounces, because one day doesn't make a trend, and we just had a gap to fill, and let's kind of see if there was something to do about that. So what we're looking at is yesterday when price moved up, you can see that it actually ran right into the underside of an hourly 50. So it still has a moving average in the way that it has to deal with. And then if you look here, we have a very wide 8 and 21, right? So we got price to move up and came back down, and what it's doing currently is trying to test these lows, to retest them to see if that's actually going to be holding. And so that's where I'm looking at. So we want to be seeing if I come down here to the 15 minute, if I zoom further here, what I'm seeing is that the Moxie indicator is above 0. That means that momentum is positive. Momentum is over 0, it's positive. Momentum wants to keep going up, but price is below the moving average. That's what I call a trampoline move. It's just as if you were to jump on a trampoline and go below the frame of the trampoline, but those springs then shoot you back up. It's kind of like that. The Moxie indicator being above 0 are the springs, and the fact that you are now jumping below the frame of the trampoline kind of gives a high compression, high energy situation. Now we need to make sure it works, and that's what I'll start moving around the market for and see if that's going to be happening. But I'm looking at this and saying, I'm usually pretty familiar with that, and that means that UVXY wants to go up in conjunction with this double bottom that I'm starting to see. Now it might take all day to form. We're going to have to wait and watch how this thing goes, but I'm starting to see some action on that. One other thing to look at, some divergences between the UVXY, which is volatility, and the SPY. So they tend to be opposite of each other. If the SPY goes up, then volatility should be going down because everyone's happy and it's cool and thumbs up. But what happens when we start getting into a situation where people are starting to say, I'm not so sure that the market should be going up, or I think it's pretty extended and we're getting into an area of risk to where the market probably isn't going to keep going up. So people start to hedge their bets, and people start to say, my fear is increasing and I'm starting to get concerned. And so what they do is they start to buy into a vehicle that will help protect them or go up when the market goes down. For me, that's UVXY, which is a leveraged ETF of volatility. And so I look at this sometimes as a little bit of a clue, a little bit of another indicator. So yesterday, the market was basically going up most of the day, but if you see, the UVXY also started to go up during the halfway through the day. You got to kind of scratch your head and think, okay, if the market's going up, volatility should be going down. But if volatility is also going up when the market is going up, I think there might be something going on that I need to be aware of. And that's how we were able to catch this move yesterday right there, and did a good job with that one. Now, we look at this again currently, and I said, I'm looking at a trampoline move, I'm looking at the hourly, I'm looking for a double bottom. You know, everything just seems very extended right now. So we are trying to kind of get into a trade and start working something like this out. Let me then show you the lower time frame chart. Let me slide this over for you. We'll see what we can see over here if there's anything to talk about yet. So in order for this to work, I'm looking for price to, price has to get on top of the moving averages at some point, right? In order for price to go up, it has to be over moving averages. Otherwise, right, what's the deal? If price is underneath moving averages, well, then it's going down. So we need price to eventually get on top of the moving averages. And so you can see just a few minutes ago that the Uvxy did hit the underside of a downtrending 2-minute 50. So we're down here in day trading territory. So I know I get a lot of questions about this stuff with day trading. But now look what we have. We have a lower low and we have a higher low on the Moxie indicator. That's some divergence. That's some internal divergence that's starting to come in and telling me that maybe some pressure starting to come in on the Uvxy to the upside, which is what I'm looking for because I think the market's going to start going down. But we need to confirm all this. So in order for me to then take, say, the next setup on Uvxy, I want to see price start to get on top of these moving averages. So probably sometime today, if this works out, I'd like to see price get on top of the 2-minute 50. And then eventually, I'd like to see price get back on top of the 5-minute 50, and then eventually get back on top of the 15-minute 50. So there's a whole process. I kind of talk about it like the head of a snake, if you can think of it like that. Then let's move over to the SPY. In JV, I don't personally trade FX and Forex and all that, but I know people who do. And yes, they've said that the Moxie indicator works great for them. I've even had some people say that they use the Moxie indicator in other indices, like other countries, and they say that it works very well. And I have people who trade futures, and they say that it works well there too. So you just need to apply it to a vehicle that it likes to work well with. There are some stocks that are just super choppy, and Moxie does not work well with it. So you just have to find something that works. And I remember looking at some of the Forex currency pairs, and some of them were smoother and some of them worked better, and Moxie was able to communicate better to us with them than other pairs. Yeah, what's up, MRAM? So the other thing I'm looking at yesterday with the SPY is we were just too overbought. Price was too far away from the hourly 50 to really find any support. It's just hanging out there way too much. And at some point, price is going to want to come down and actually touch that 50. Now, it did that yesterday in a fairly big way. Now, what I was wondering is, what is price going to do? Is it going to kind of hold here and then roll over more? Was it going to bounce like it did? Or was it going to bounce a little bit, run into these moving averages, roll over? So far, it hasn't done any of all the things that I thought it was going to do, but it's come up here and now it's done a double top. And now look at the Moxie indicator. It is still below 0. You can see that we've had price keep moving up, 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 and the Moxie indicator keeps moving down, 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 down. And this goes back to that negative divergence that I keep seeing. And so my line in the sand for the market is, are we really going to be able to break out to a new high right here? I don't think so. I think that is asking too much. Remember, and I actually spoke to my Moxie members yesterday. I guess I can actually get rid of this so we can see about it. Get rid of that. There you go. So I was speaking to my Moxie members in a live session yesterday, and I said, be aware, we are pretty much at a double top. We are back at the pre-COVID highs for the S&P. Great news. I mean, I love it. That's fantastic that price is all the way up there. It's amazing because I think we lost 35%, and in order to, when you lose 35%, you can't just earn back 35%. You have to actually earn more. And I think I did the math. It was something like 54%. You have to earn back 54% even to just to break even on a 35% loss. And it is amazing that the market has done that. So, wow, incredible. I guess props to the Fed for pumping on that up with all the money. And here we are. But double tops tend to be usually places to sell. They're double tops. It's natural resistance. And so that's why we were able to capture a move like this that did pretty well. Now I'm looking at this and still I'm saying, I'm not so sure it's really going to keep going. I don't think it's going to keep going today. You know, I see the Moxie indicator is still below 0. I'm seeing a bit of a chunk right there. And so that's why I'm looking at these alternative vehicles. I'm looking at Uvxy. I'm looking at these things to see if there's something we need to be aware of about, you know, the risk to the long side and actually maybe going short. Down here on the 5 and the 15, you know, still waiting. Look what price did. It just ran right into the previous high and then stopped. And now, just like what I was saying with the Uvxy, in order for the Uvxy to go up, we need the SPY to go down. Well, how does it start to go down? It starts to go down by getting underneath these moving averages. So I'm still waiting for the S&P to get underneath the 2-minute 50, and then I will be waiting for price to get underneath the 5-minute 50, and then I'd be waiting for price to get underneath the 15-minute 50. Now, if I'm completely wrong and it doesn't do any of this and it doesn't get underneath these moving averages and it keeps going up, then I'm wrong and I got to get out. But right now I'm seeing indications that I'm not so sure price is going to keep going, so I'm watching for those moves for me to take action on. All right, so I think that's pretty much what I'm seeing there. Let's go over to the Qs because they were pretty strong today. But again, big picture, I'm looking at this stuff. Let me actually show you this. I'm seeing just some overall weakness. You know, yes, the SPY and the Qs have really jumped up this morning, but look what we've been having. We had a double top there, and we've even had a higher high, and we had negative divergence, and we still have negative divergence. So the Qs just made higher highs, new highs, on less energy than previously. And I'm looking at that as negative divergence, and that's something we need to be aware of. The other thing is, here is the Qs today, back above the 15-minute 50, but the 15-minute Moxie indicator does not look good. That is not strong. One of them is barely crossing above 0. The other one is still below 0. There, I don't see a setup right there, and they're spread. They're kind of just mixed and mumbled and jumbled. And so I'm looking at this, and you know, that's making me pause. That makes me really concerned about going long today on something like the Qs. The other thing I'm looking at, and let me kind of zoom in here on the hourly chart. On the hourly chart, we're seeing that price is over the hourly 50, but notice that the Moxie indicator is below 0. Again, that's an inverse trampoline move. So for now, and again, I might be wrong tomorrow, I might be wrong later today, something. But for now, I'm seeing indications that makes me really concerned to the upside, and I'm starting to, you know, hedge and take some action on the downside. All right, guys, so let me know. I've kind of talked for a while at this point. Let me know if you have any particular questions or any tickers that we're looking at. And then let me kind of jump around. We'll look at some of the other things. TLT. You can see TLT kind of had a rough couple of days. And the way I look at this is on the daily chart, look at where price is in relation to the daily 50. You know, that was really up there. That was very unsupported. And when did that happen? It happened when price broke the hourly 50 and we got that Moxie price trigger right there. So this is why I'm starting to say I'm seeing some concern on the other markets, because you know, we're starting to see it here and it gave me good examples. And then you can see here price started to follow the 15-minute 50 down with the Moxie indicator well below 0. So this is why I'm looking at that stuff. All right, and then I'll do GLD, which I think will cover kind of the rest of the overall stuff. And then, yeah, Jonathan, I'll look at BABA next. Now, gold, I really honestly have not been watching gold for quite some time because it left me a while ago. I think I was trading GDX and I was trading Nugget for GDX, and so I left it right about there. At that point, I said, I'm pretty good. I've made a lot of money on this. I traded silver. I traded leverage silver. I'm good. I think this thing is starting to, you know, get pretty frothy and get up there and get into places where I just don't know what it's going to do. And it did happen to move up a little bit further. Look at this negative divergence. So just like I was showing on the Qs about the negative divergence, notice that we have a higher high, but we have a lower high on the Moxie indicator. That is telling me that this kind of stuff is not looking very good. You know, this is that, there's that negative divergence I'm talking about. So for those of you who are kind of maybe wondering what all this mumbo jumbo and lingo is that I'm talking about, if you want to come over here to profitpilot.com, this is my website where I run it. You guys can find more information about me. I actually just had a class about the entire thing. So we had a a COVID update class. It actually turned out to be about, you know, without breaks, it turned out to be about 5.5 hours. There was so much material that I had to talk about that I put out there, and I had something like 110 slides, maybe a little bit more. And we had a great turnout. We had a lot of people in the class. I don't know if it's still available. We do have some live trading days if you're interested. But as soon as that thing becomes like we're over with the session, we'll put it out there. You guys can buy the class too again if you want. But if you're curious about what Moxie is and how I trade, this is where you can start finding some more information. Basically go over to services, and I think that's where you can start signing up for stuff. All right, then let's go to Baba. So George, the Moxie indicator, you have to buy it. It is an indicator that I've been working on for the last many years, and it is where it gotten me to where I am today as far as my trading ability. So it is, you can see I got a couple other indicators, but really Moxie is all I need in order to trade the way that I trade. All right, so Baba, same thing. You know, it had a pretty good bounce today, but I'm looking at this as potentially going into resistance. Is the hourly 50 going to be resistance? Is the 15-minute 200 going to be resistance? This is the stuff that you need to be aware of and cognizant of. I'm concerned that if they are, then price will continue to fall off of the hourly 50. Notice the Moxie indicator is below 0. And what it might want to do is get back down somewhere towards the daily 50. So Jonathan, be careful if you're doing something like this. You know, for me, and if I'm going to be trading this thing long, I need to watch that price really starts to engage with the 15-minute 50 and starts to move up from here and eventually gets back on top of the hourly 50. And if these things start rolling over, that's where you need to be concerned about it. All right, Square. Square just had too good a move. You know, earnings is great. Good news on earnings. But it was up in outer space, and it just had no place left to go. So, Mo, when you're looking at this, I like to use the ATRs, and you can see up here, price was outside of the third ATR, and it just fell back. Where did it fall back? Right at the 15-minute 50. So beyond that, I have a Moxie price trigger as far as an exit. Maybe it's a short, but for now it says exit. And that's what I'm looking at. Price is still underneath these moving averages. The Moxie indicator doesn't look very good. It's seeing things like this that tell me that, you know, the market's not looking too strong either. Because I look at the market individually, but then I look at names and it's like, you know, I just don't see any names that I really want to buy right now. The only one that kind of looked decent was, let's see, MRMU talked about Flex today. And while it does look good, I told him that he needs to wait because it won't go if the market doesn't go. And what I'm seeing here is, yes, price is over these moving averages on the 15-minute time frame, but these don't look really good. The Moxie indicator doesn't look very good, doesn't look very strong. And yes, price is right here at the hourly 50, but the Moxie indicator is almost to 0. So if this is going to work, it basically needs to stay where it is. It needs to continue up along the 15-minute 50 and the 15-minute 200. And if price starts to fall off of this moving average, I'd be out. I'm not sure if I go short, but I would definitely be out of my long. Because look at this, we've had price move up, up, up. Notice that the Moxie indicator has not moved up. There's that negative divergence that I'm talking about, and I think that's going to be your issue. MREM, yeah, I heard some people talk about SDC. You know, I tried trading this one. At this point, it is too close to earnings. Earnings is, you know, tomorrow, after close today. I'm not touching this thing. I don't care what it does. It could go up 20 points. I don't care because I have no idea what it's going to do for earnings, and so I just move along. Now, yesterday, you know, I tried tracking it here, and then I tried seeing if there was going to be a trade here. We didn't actually take that. That was during one of my live sessions, and I could see that this thing was starting to get a little bit choppy. You can see here on the, if you look here on the 15-minute time frame, we got in perfectly right there as price got over the 15-minute 50 and the hourly 50, all of that. But after that, it never really engaged with the 15-minute 50, and in fact, just the other day, you can see it got rejected by the 15-minute 50. And so that is where I then said, okay guys, we need to protect ourselves. Let's at least move our stop to break even. So if this thing starts going down, we at least get out with a scratch. And that's what happened. We got out for a scratch, no harm, no foul. Sure, price is up today. I don't care. Earnings is later today. I don't care. Gonna move aside. All right, so long a couple spreads. Yeah, just depends on what direction you're wanting to go. Let's see, eBay, if there's anything going on with that one. Yeah, I'm not really seeing much. It's doing a good job holding up. I would imagine, so eventually, Adam, I would imagine that price is going to bounce off the daily 50. There's no guarantees of that, but I would imagine it's either going to bounce off of it. There is the possibility that maybe it wants to push a little bit through it and then go up. But right now, I am seeing some divergence. There's your double bottom, there's your positive divergence. But today, price is only just starting to pierce the hourly 50. It's not over it, it's not following it. I would like to see if price continues to follow the 15-minute 50. I'm still not so sure about this. So again, be careful with your stuff out there. Hey, if things start to go long, great. Follow them, keep on them. For something like this, if price breaks basically $54, I'm out. Otherwise, you can hope for a sideways to maybe up. But if it starts to break through this level of $54, I'd be out. Just in case, because again, I'm kind of concerned about this one as far as I'm concerned about the market right now. Let's see what's going on with Microsoft. It just couldn't do it. It's still lagging. Hourly chart is below the hourly 50. That's not good. The Moxie indicator is below 0. Not really good. The 8 is below the 21. That's a downside. And price here is just kind of hanging on doing nothing, and I'm not really seeing much indication here. So yeah, I'm not really seeing any action on Microsoft. So maybe it will bounce off the daily 50 at some point, but I don't see anything yet. And then let's check out Twitter, TWTR. And then I'm watching Uvxy on another one of my charts, just to make sure nothing gets moving during the time while I'm on camera here. So far so good. All right. All right. Here's also my concern. Yeah, guys, I'm really not seeing much out there, which has me concerned about the market. I can't say it enough. A little concerned about the market. Here's our Moxie price trigger. And again, everything I do is in reference to the Moxie indicator. So if you guys are wondering what it is, or what to do about it, or why I keep talking about it, come over to your Profit Pilot, and I can show you the website. You can see everything I write about, and we have links to where you can go pick up the indicator and the class if you want to learn how to trade this way. So that means energy is now negative. And here, based on one of my rules, price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. That's telling me that it's a negative momentum situation. Moxie is telling me that energy is below 0, it's negative, but then price is over the 50, shouldn't be up there. And you can see that it is having a hard time staying up there. See how price is kind of doing this, and the Moxie indicator is kind of doing this? I'd be careful. I don't really see this thing holding up very well. Yes, let's see, financials, how are they doing? The beginning of this week was great for financials, and it was great for a lot of the small cap stuff. I had a good time trading Play, which was Dave & Buster's, some of the casinos, airlines, all those things, had a really good time. But as I was talking about in both my live session on Tuesday and my live session on Monday for the subscribers and the students, it was too much. It was too good. It was too good. Look at this. The price is just in outer space. Do you guys want to buy this? Who wants to buy this? Is there anybody up here that wants to buy this? That would not be a good place to go buy or initiate a position. It just is not. You can see it's just way up here. And so something like this with the financials, they had a really good time, but they need to take a break. And so if we start putting this together with the whole thesis of what I'm saying out there, I'm not like Twitter doesn't look good, Microsoft doesn't look good, eBay, whatever, Baba, not looking so good. I'm not seeing any entries. And then I look at something like this, and it's already done its move. It's already gone from here to here in a vertical straight line. And now you're in outer space as far as these things go. So I look at this and say, some of these big names, I don't see an entry. And then things like this that look really good, look too good. And they are way up there, and it's highly unlikely that they are sustainable to keep going long. And so this is the stuff that is kind of telling me that, hey, I think the market needs to take a chill pill, and the market might be going sideways to down this week. Yeah, Sean, I believe you, but that's good. We need somebody to buy our stock when we sell it. Now let me show you Play. And I had a lot of people asking me, they're like, why are you selling this right now? Like, what are you doing? This thing looks stellar, it looks amazing. Why are you selling? This is why I'm selling. This is where we sold. This is where we bought. And this, so buy, sell, right? Looks pretty good. And when it gets up there, we need to have somebody else buy it from us in order for us to sell it. So there's always somebody on the other side of that trade, and there's somebody up there thinking, oh, this thing is really going to go. It's not us though. We are the ones selling it to them. And now you can see the price has gone down like this, and I'm happy to be out of it. And there's still more room for price to keep going down, which is why I think that the market is looking fairly weak. In fact, I did not cover IWM. Let me show you this one. This is why I think, look at this. This does not look like it really wants to hang up here, okay? So sometimes you can look around the market and certain things, certain indexes will give you a bit of a heads up because they will move before the other ones will move. Look at this, at IWM is way up there, very extended, very high up there. It is off its moving average, right? It's up there. Who wants to buy up there? I don't want to buy up there. And you can see here on the hourly chart, way extended. And you see how yesterday that the SPY actually came down and touched its hourly 50? The IWM has yet to do that. So what this tells me is, yes, the IWM is the strongest of the group for now, but it's overbought, it's extended, and it's unsupported, and it's going to probably want to come down and find some support, and that support is still down here, which is telling me I think that there's still some more downside to come. And if you look here, so far, the price is getting rejected and trapped underneath the 15-minute 50, and the Moxie indicator is now below 0. I'm just not seeing anything good. Yeah, I'm me. Yeah, nice screen name. But yeah, I totally think IWM needs a breather. You're absolutely right. It definitely does. Now, maybe this thing doesn't torpedo, really have the bottom fall out. Maybe it just kind of goes sideways. That's a possibility. Okay. But I rather right now I've taken all of my longs off, and now I'm starting to kind of play a little bit to the short side, or at least hedging for a move to the downside, sideways to down. So we'll have to see when that actually starts happening. ZM. Let's see what's going on with ZM. No, Jimbo, don't see that it's finally turning around. I don't see that. Like the 8 is still below the 21 in a big way, and price is still below the 15-minute 50 in a big way. I don't see it. This might be the bottom, but as far as a long entry, I don't see it. Nothing yet. This thing's got a lot of work to do before it can start going back up. All right, and then UNP. So this one goes along with the Dow. The Dow was looking really strong the other day, all that kind of stuff. But Antonio, tell me, is this something that you'd want to buy up here? And if you're in it, do you really, do you want to handle a pullback, or do you want to capture some of your gains? If you were in this and you just made this run, that's a really good run. Do you want to maybe take a little bit off and protect your gains? Because in the stock market, we know this, price goes up, price goes down, price goes up, price goes down. So when price goes really far up, it doesn't always stay up there, right? Because nobody else is left to buy up there. It is not a good opportunity to buy up there. Look at that thing. It is vertical. And if you look, just look at history. Just look at history on this one alone. Every time that price has really gone up, it's pulled back. Really gone up, it's pulled back. Really gone up, it's pulled back. So what are we likely to do up here? So I'd be careful about that one. If you're in it, cash them in. If you're not in it and you're looking to get in, I would recommend not. And let's see, let's go one more. CCL, see, there was another one. This is another name that I traded, and we pretty much did it perfectly. We got in here, and we got out there, and look at that pullback. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. That's where I want to be getting out of something, is way up there, and I'll look for a reentry at some point. Do I see it right now? No, I don't see it. Where is it? What's my plan? Well, I don't see it yet. Maybe it'll come down here and find some support at the moving averages, but right now it is still falling. Like, it is still moving to the downside. So we'll have to see what this thing does to kind of shape up and see if we got something. But I don't see anything yet. All right, everybody, that is my time. So remember to come over here to profitpilot.com if you have any kind of questions about how I trade, what I do, who am I. I have a lot of things under home that I write about. So if you guys want to check out the newsletter, do that. I do kind of give some market reports and all that. But yeah, come check it out. We're doing a lot of live trading for my class and class sessions right now. And if you guys are interested, come over. You can always subscribe to the Moxie Mastery, which is where I put out live trade alerts. And then I do live trading once a month. We just had one yesterday. And we've got a lot of new people to the room. And so it's very happy to see them out there learning the system and coming trade with me. So enjoy your week. I will talk to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope next week on Wednesday. See you there.